and so happy to have some wonderful guests to chat with us. We are very thankful for technology that has allowed us to stay connected while we're living apart right now, and grateful that our wonderful team at the YWCA has helped us pull together YWTV so we can find some ways to hopefully uplift you, inspire you, engage you, and help kind of bridge this time that we are living in this different way for a period of time. With that, as those of you who know the YW know that we spend a lot of time supporting women-owned small businesses. And as part of our collaborative spirit and our interest in continuing to help our small business community during this time, we have amassed a wonderful crew for you today for a wonderful discussion about collaborations and innovations that are popping up at this time. So with that, let me introduce you to my personal friend and mentor, one of business mentor that's out there in the world that many of you know, Miss Sarah Walton. So happy to have her join us today. Many of you probably are seeing her. She's been going live regularly, and happy that we kind of, I think, got her fresh off of her live to join us today. We also are so happy to have join us today Dr. Peggy DeLong, clinical and forensic psychologist, and also Miss Heidi Robak, who is the owner of the Scribble Garden, a maker space in Pequannock. Pequannock? Packanack.
Pequannock.
Pequannock, all right. Well, I could keep going, but clearly I wasn't going to get it, so I'm glad you jumped in. If there's 10 spellings, I would have done the first 9. Way to say it. But we're happy to have all of you together, and welcome to YWTV. So I have to say I'm really interested in hearing from Dr. DeLong because I understand that you're known as the gratitude psychologist, and I love hearing about Dr. Gratitude. So tell me a little bit about how you got that name, and also a little bit about how you pivoted your business right now and tweaked your model so that you could best support your clients.
Sure. Well, I got that name because I've been speaking about gratitude for about 6 years now. I've been a psychologist for 18 years, and in all of my experiences, I have, both personally and professionally, I have never come across anything as powerful as gratitude. And I love that it's free. It works anytime. It's accessible to all of us. And not only does it make us feel good in the moment, but it has long-term benefits for our mental health. All the science shows that it increases those feel-good neurotransmitters in our brain, specifically serotonin and dopamine, and we are truly forming new neural pathways to be more positive thinkers. It works like a muscle. The more we practice it, the stronger it gets. And then eventually, without any effort, we just become more positive thinkers, all by simple methods of practicing gratitude. So I see my job as helping people find ways to do that so they don't get bored, so it's fun and enjoyable every day.
That's wonderful. And how have you kind of used that and, kind of pivoted your business with that tweak?
Well, I continue to see my therapy clients, but now we've moved to either phone or video, whatever they're comfortable with. But I've really put most of my energy into my online mental health monthly membership, which I started in January and is just so timely that it already existed online so that people can access it. And, mental health help is not available for everybody. Yes, it exists, but it's not accessible for everyone. I offer very cost-effective methods of helping people in the comfort of their home through my online program called Come Alive with Dr. Peggy. And it's all about ways that we can build resilience, find joy, gratitude, meaning in our lives on our worst days. That has been my message from the beginning, that what I have to teach people is not for the good times. What I have are tools to help on your most difficult days. And that started in January, not knowing what was ahead. So I'm so grateful that now I have all of the tools to be able to reach people from the comfort of their homes, where we're all living. And if we're not having a job outside of the home, that we can still maintain. So it's so accessible. So I'm putting a lot of my energy into that. And I'm also a public speaker with live events. So all of that has completely changed and gone online. Just the other day, I spoke with 150 VPs and faculty members at Rutgers, giving my signature talk on gratitude. And the response was so overwhelming. It was a little bit unusual not being able to see faces, but the impact, the immediate impact of emails that I received afterwards, like that people felt better right away by just simple tools. So I'm so grateful to have this new platform. I'm learning every day with technology, but the beauty is that I'm reaching more people and helping people more in a very affordable or free way.
That's wonderful. And again, couldn't be more timely that you had made that kind of pivot for yourself and that you were kind of standing and waiting almost for this moment to come for sure. So I'm going to connect back with you in a minute because you said a few things that I think we'll probably all jump onto together. But let's talk to Heidi for a moment.
Ah!
Heidi, let's hear a little bit. I know that you really embraced the idea of community partnership in
Yes,
your work. Can you tell us a few examples of how you're doing that at the Scribbles Garden and what you find to be some of the benefits of that collaboration?
sure. My company does a lot of we work with a lot of women and children. So we do children's programs, which are now online. So we deliver activity kits because we're going a little stir crazy at home. So I'm part of the chamber, the Quantic Chamber. So I partnered with a lot of the local businesses that are struggling, like myself, and we are like offering the activity kits with pizza. The local pizza place is selling. I also do screen printing and embroidery, so we do coolers. I made up some coolers, and I worked with the pizza places, and they're delivering pizza kits to make your own pizza with the kids, and it's delivered in one of my coolers. So we're all working together to offer, like even like for birthdays, we have Accentuate This as another company in town, and we're working together to cross promote and to offer our products with what is still open, what is still viable right now.
Mm-hmm.
The restaurants and everything. I made costumes, so I started making masks. So we're giving out the masks with, like these ridiculous little things, and we're giving them to local companies so that they can continue to provide services. Um, it's just everybody's working together. It's really wonderful.
So,
I
was it because of the relationship you had with the chamber that you were able to start those conversations and jump
um,
to those kind of creative connections that you made? How did that happen?
I kind of always work with other businesses. I have a few companies. So I have the Grand Marketplace, which runs street festivals. So I have a huge database of vendors, local artists, small businesses, and I'm always trying to pull them all together, like all our events, which are now postponed. Um, but I have that database, so I'm reaching out to all these vendors and all these local companies and trying to bring them all together to create ideas to continue. A lot of these businesses are very small and um, are run by women who make products, and so I'm posting them on the websites, we're posting them on Facebook, and we're still able to work. We're still able to continue. We're changing our gears. Like I said, I'm starting to make masks, but we have other people that are also making masks. We're sharing fabric, we're sharing elastic, which is you can't find. Um, but we're working together and promoting these items together. So it's something that we've all done all the time, but now we need to step it up, and we're pulling it together, and we're doing it as long as it takes.
Well, that's a great kind of commercial out there for small business owners about the importance of collaboration at all times, right? Because then
It's so important.
when times like this pop up, you already have the relationships to be able to sit and creatively, solve problems together.
Yes.
So, Sarah, I know that you recently launched your heat centered boot camp, which was, something that you
Love
jumped
it.
right in with. And, that was really for women who to kind of create their business and move it online, since that's where, we are living right now. Everything is virtual. Can you tell me a little bit about what kind of moved you and how you kind of got to that space of creating this new opportunity?
Yeah, it's been crazy. All of a sudden, you guys, it's like the whole world. Look at us. We just went online. It was like
Yeah,
we woke up one day and it was like, here, shove everything into this.
yeah.
And it's what I've been teaching people to do for years. And this is actually my signature program. And I usually run it once a year, and I usually run it in May or June. And it was like, nope, we're going to run a pandemic version of it in 20 minutes. Like, let's go. And I got my, Rita's on here with us. Thank you, Rita. Rita helped me pull it together. Rita's been my virtual assistant for 150 years. And we pulled it together as quickly as we could. And we're offering it for half off with incredible payment plans for no interest, because I know this is a really weird time. But what inspired me to do it right away was all of a sudden everybody panicked. And I know when there's like a group panic, first of all, that's not good for anybody. And the best way to deal with panic is to give information. It's always the best way for any of us to deal with it, is to understand what we can actually do. And my stance has always been that we need to create before we consume, which is a phrase that was coined by Marie Forleo, and I love it. But this idea that if we can create what we're good at, if we can create from scratch, just like Heidi just explained, like, oh my gosh, you got to pivot, you got to look at what the questions are, and then you got to look at your own talents, your own experience, your own expertise, and think about how you can put that together. And now that we're online, it's our responsibility to understand this technology, to know how to use it. It's all there to serve us, and it's just not an excuse to not understand how to have your business grow and flourish right now, when people probably need you way more than they ever have. I mean, I look at Peggy as an example. Like, the fact that she's got that membership online, how many people are going to benefit from that when they're home alone, and instead they can just listen to her on a daily basis for like this much of what it would have cost before. And I think when we can start to pivot that way and look at what we need for each other and to keep the economy moving, and that women usually are the backbone of the economy anyway, I think this provides an opportunity for us to see this in a much more transparent way, and for us to understand our role in this economy, but also our role when it comes to leading with service and structuring businesses around our talents and around the things that we're naturally good at. And I think it's almost our obligation and responsibility to do this now, to bring revenue and money into our homes, but also to serve at a greater level.
So I think what strikes me about all three of your stories as I'm listening to it is what keeps kind of coming back into my head is a Zen Buddhist saying, leap and the net will appear. It's amazing to me listening to you, because all three of you really had to like quickly jump and be like, okay, I'm not sure where I'm going to land, but I'm going to do it. And I think the thing that's really unique is all three of you kind of landed, obviously, in a good space with your jump, but that's scary for people. And some people may have the idea, but may not make the jump because of that fear. So can you guys talk me through a little bit about how you, how you managed, went through that piece of it? Because I'm assuming even though the three of you landed and or I should say, we're probably still drifting, right? Because we're still figuring out our way. We're still falling, but in a, maybe less chaotic way. But how you got yourself to go through that piece and move into action.
Well, I'll take that if you want. That's my favorite topic. Yeah, that's my favorite topic. I mean, listen, I think this pandemic has provided an opportunity we've never seen before. And I think it's a time where actually, oddly enough, I think people are actually willing to take bigger risks because we don't know what's going to happen. And so the worry of, like, the normal worries that I deal with as a business coach around what are people going to think? I'm embarrassed to be seen starting small. What if it fails? Those are kind of gone because you can't fail right now because everybody's watching everyone and everybody's being so supportive. For the most part, right? There'll always be the outliers, but for the most part, people are in this to support. I mean, listen to Heidi's story about how everybody's just coming together. And I am seeing that now more than ever. So those normal fears are kind of gone. Then they move more towards the financial fears. And this is something that I love to really talk about. And this is not unique to the pandemic. I think it's been exacerbated because of the news and what we're hearing and what we're seeing happening. But I think what this also provides us is an opportunity to one, kind of renegotiate our own relationships to money and what money means to us and how we view it, and how many people are stepping up and saying, look, I'll make money, but I want to give this much to the medical workers. I want to make sure there's enough masks. I want to make sure those kids who normally get food at school are going to get it. I want to make sure that women who are locked in houses now with abusers are taken care of. So that relationship to money, if you're able to bring in more money right now, you're actually able to do more good in the areas that matter the most to you. And so I think this idea that, oh, I can't make money right now, it's no longer like I can't make money right now because I don't want to have like all the bags and shoes, and that's really what matters to me, and I'm shallow. That's gone. It's now understanding you need to make money to make sure your mortgage is paid, to make sure you can continue to go to the grocery store, to make sure the causes that matter to you are affected, and that you're driving that change, that you are driving the effect you're having on the larger society and the larger economy now. So the fears are different. And I think if there's ever been a time for people to jump, it's now. Because what's the worst that's going to happen? You're going to end up exactly where you are. Are you going to be home? You're already home, right? It's like all of those normal fears are actually gone. It's a really impressive feat, I think, for people to be playing in this space right now in a new way.
That's great. That's great. Ladies, do you guys have any thoughts on that as well? Your perspective, how you work through your fear? Because I do think that people watching that are, some small business owners might be kind of, do I, don't I, do I, don't I, how do we push them to do it?
What has helped me, what Sarah touched upon, was the risk. I feel that I have nothing to lose. And I almost feel like it's an obligation, because I have information and experience, and both personal and professional, that I know helps people, that has been backed by research time and time again. So to not share that is strange. So I'm feeling, I wake up every day with excitement that I now have a platform to reach more people and share. And all of my worries about being judged or starting small, just like as Sarah mentioned, it doesn't matter anymore. That was what prevented me in the past, and it just doesn't matter anymore. And I feel like it's my job to do it.
That's great.
It's very scary financially, but I just keep going and working little things like every day. Like when I donate the masks, it makes me feel good. I started making signs it says my teacher misses me, for my preschool parents. So we went around and we put them out on the lawns, and the kids are loving it. They're taking pictures and sending it, posting on a face, and it just brings such joy. It keeps you going. I've always been creative. I have basically Michaels in my basement. So I just keep creating things, and I'm trying to make new masks and new items for the kids, so that they have something to do, and try to help as many people as I can. Like we did the Easter Bunny. I don't know if anybody did the Easter Bunny. I decorated the trailer that went around town, so that the kids, just seeing videos of the kids looking at, waving through the window, it just keeps you going.
Yeah.
We don't know what our financial situation is going to be in a few months, or how long this is going to take, but we're women. We just keep going. We're strong.
Yeah.
And the little bits of joy that we get from our customers, or whatever, from the people that are showing support, it's wonderful. It definitely keeps you going. Doing this, being invited to do this with you ladies, it's wonderful.
It is wonderful. The connections and things that are coming, like hearing that you are from Pequannock. Ironically, I had an event today at the Pequannock Library that I had to cancel. And hearing you speak about your kits just gave me an idea. It was a beading workshop. My other hat is I make inspirational mental health bracelets, and I was going to be teaching people how to make gratitude bracelets. But now because of speaking with you right now, I'm going to put those into little kits, and everybody that signed up, we can mail them.
Yes, absolutely.
So this really interesting where you guys all just got to. It made me wonder, obviously we have evolved from where we were and what was, and we're kind of in this time that we're figuring out. what do you think we'll keep with us when we get to the next stop? And of course, as you said, Heidi, we don't know when that is.
Right.
We know as of yesterday, schools were now continued to be closed until the 15th.
Right.
We heard the New York City pools were closed already for the summer. So summer camps are maybe opening, maybe not. We don't know. We don't know what's coming next. But with that, we're still kind of going through this time. What do you think we'll keep with us? What'll be part of the new normal when we get there?
I miss hugs.
You miss
Yeah. Yeah,
But,
for sure. Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I actually just did a podcast on this one, Helen, about, really planning out. I think each one of us should plan out what we want to keep and what we don't want to keep. Right? Like Heidi said, I cannot wait to hug and kiss my friends. Like, oh my gosh, and I miss my monthly brunch appointments so badly, right? Like, oh my God. But as far as slowing down, and connecting more intentionally, I hope we don't lose that. In like even what just happened, what just happened was a business connection, right? And we don't look at it that way because it's so led with service right now, which is what women are so naturally good at. So I really hope that we continue this piece of collaboration and support and intentional focused connection. Sometimes we don't realize what we have till it's gone. And we've been stripped of so much that I think I've heard it from my one-on-one clients where they're like, I'm selling this house. I don't care anymore. I don't want it. This doesn't make me happy. Like all these moments we've had along the way where we can see what doesn't serve us anymore and what we want to actually be doing. We want to be sending the kits. We want to be supporting people. We want to be connecting. And I hope humans sometimes have short-term memory problems, but I hope that this is something that we keep for the next stop is this consistent focused attention. And then also for the kids, I think the time they're spending outside of summer camps, I don't think that's happening as much as it is now. I don't think that normally would have happened to the extent that it is now. So I hope we keep that for their sake as well.
That's great. Ladies, do you have any thoughts about what's kind of your learning as you go along now that you maybe want to keep, whether it's personally or professionally?
I definitely want to keep the slowing down. It has been such a blessing not to have to run in a million different directions, not just for my 3 teens, but myself, and feeling like I've got to be productive, produce. That mindset has allowed me to be more creative and actually get more done by less pressure because I'm not in a hurry to do anything. I'm just taking my time and to giving myself that permission. I don't know why I didn't do it before. It's taken this to give myself permission to slow the heck down. And the other thing I'm going to do is keep using the china. The other day I was out of dishes. We forgot to run the washer. So I didn't take out the outdoor plastic stuff. I took out the good stuff. And my kids got a huge kick out of it. We only use it once a year for Thanksgiving. So it was so nice to use the china during the week. And we're going to keep doing that.
That's great. That is. Heidi,
I like doing this Zoom.
Yeah.
Or whatever, this Facebook. I've been using Zoom for meeting with the teachers and meeting with other peers, and we're learning. This is like, I've never done this before.
Mm-hmm.
This is one. So I'm going to continue doing this type of, in addition to everything else that we do. But bringing people together, this is what it's all about, and we're doing. So it was wonderful to meet you ladies.
Yeah.
I am going to contact you for other things. I like that necklet, the beading thing also.
Her bracelets are gorgeous. They're awesome.
Stick with the YW, Heidi. Stick with the YW. We're all about connecting women together. That's what we do.
I love it.
Yeah.
And you do it well.
One last question that kind of came to me, actually, Peggy, while you were talking, about slowing down, because I think slowing down has been great, but slowing down during this time, right? There's been a lot of anxiety, obviously, because of the news and what's going on around us. And, people are dealing with a lot of grief and depression and anxiety, and they may not even be aware that they're dealing with it. And so I'm thinking about the small business owner who is trying to still make enough money to pay their mortgage, get their bills paid. And I'm also thinking about the small business owner that's kind of watching all of these wonderful feeds that Sarah and you and other, everyone's out there doing about pivot and, kind of how to respond to what's going on and produce. But that, people are really struggling with grief and anxiety. And how do you
Mhm.
kind of manage those two at the same time? Do you have any thoughts? Because like I said, I've said this a lot on different YWTV episodes over the last few weeks that, you have certain people that are out there having their quarantinis and having a blast, and out like going on like 3 mile hikes with their family and, making new recipes and cleaning their closets. And then you have other people that are just, hearing about, people that are sick or, are kind of just stuck to the television, listening to the numbers and, that may be, paralyzing them or keeping them from feeling any of that other piece of it. So some thoughts about how to help our small business owners manage that, but still get through being a small business owner.
I'll let Peggy take the lead on that one.
Yes, I have so much to say about that. Well, first of all, starting with self-compassion, that this is a time we keep hearing the word unprecedented, and it truly is. And oftentimes when we're going through a difficult time, what we do is rely upon similar past experiences to give us either consciously or unconsciously the confidence to know we can get through it, but we have never been through anything like this before. So a lot of people are just waking up every day and just feeling uncomfortable with that uneasiness that we just don't know. So self-compassion and understanding that you're not in this alone. The other difficult part is that we are grieving so much. We are grieving what used to be our normal lives, simple pleasures. All of that is loss. And when we go through periods of loss, whether it's for an experience or a person, it brings up past loss. So people are experiencing heightened grief reactions, maybe for someone who passed away 10 years ago and not understanding why that grief is so intense. And there's psychology behind that. It's the way that memories are stored in our brains through emotion that it brings back grief and loss from the past. So another part to have self-compassion and be gentle with yourself and not beat yourself up about having more feeling grief intensely right now. And I'm encouraging people to, I just love speaking about gratitude, and the simplest method that we can do, especially when anxiety is feeling like it's spiraling out of control. It's really hard to stop a thought. You just can't shut it off. We need to send that energy in a positive direction. And one of the easiest ways to do that is through gratitude, just to focus on one simple thing that you're grateful for. That could be running water. It could be someone making you laugh, anything at all. And when you can put your energy into that one thing, it serves as a distraction and just prevents that anxiety from spiraling out of control. It doesn't make the problem go away, but it can be just enough to shift your energy into a different direction and have a more positive day. And experiencing joy during this time doesn't take away the fact that there's so much sorrow, but we can generate emotion, and it starts with our thoughts. I love that we are in control of our thoughts, and part of what I do is help people understand that and then really put it into practice. And then once we have control over our thoughts, it generates the feeling. But it starts with the thought, and we have the power to do that. We have the power to create our own joy through our thinking. And like I said before, it doesn't make the problems go away, but it helps prevent it from consuming us.
Well, that's great advice. Ladies, do you have any tricks that you're using to help kind of balance your anxiety or grief as well to share?
I was going to say, one of the best things I did, it was sort of accidental, is I decided when this first hit, the first thing I did, I don't know where it came from, but it was like, I'm going to go live in my own Facebook group every morning at 10, every weekday morning at 10. And that has absolutely turned into something extraordinary, one for the community, but also for me. I have to get up and get dressed every day because people are expecting me to show up. And that has helped me sort of focus on other things. So I'll check the numbers, I'll look at what's happening, but then I've got to go and be there for someone else. And so to kind of piggyback on what Peggy said, for the business owner that is feeling crappy, that's getting super scared, that's looking at the mortgage payment, that's looking at the stuff coming in, and you start to get anxious, go out there and help someone else. And that sounds sort of cheesy or simplistic, but I mean it from the bottom of my heart. If there's somebody that you can go show up for, and if you can even teach something around your business, I mean, we have people showing up teaching things either inside the group or they start doing lives. Those sorts of things will get you in a different headspace. But the other thing it can provide, both financially and for your business, is new ideas. If you're out there teaching and you get so excited about what you're teaching and other people see you, one, you don't know who's watching and they may end up hiring you, but two, someone might end up saying something like, hey, do you do this? And you go, I do now, right? And then you can end up offering it. But if you're not in the game, meaning if you don't get out there and start talking to people and participating in the conversations that are happening and asking where you can be of service, you do get stuck in your own brain, and that will leave you in the anxiety and the fear and the grief, which is all very real, but you don't have to stay there all the time. Mm-hmm. I would never say ignore it or pretend it's not happening. No way. It is happening, and it's real, and it's scary, and some of us are incredibly lucky through this time. And no matter where you are, you have something you can teach people. You have a way that you can serve. You have a talent that's needed. And if you can figure out a way to start doing that and serving people, it will absolutely shift how you're feeling about your own anxiety and fear.
Well, it sounds like that's what you've been focused on, Heidi.
Yeah. Yes,
for sure. Yeah.
That's all I do. Yeah. And cut down watching the news. That's a big thing. If you watch that first thing in the morning, it depletes you of all your energy.
Yeah.
Just do something you love. Start making something. Start and giving it to people. Sharing that, and it just brings it keeps me going. Mm-hmm. It keeps a lot of the crafters. It keeps a lot of the businesses going when you just text them every morning, or when you get up, just text people that you haven't really spoken to in a while. It's joyful when they see something that someone cares. Yeah. And just keep doing what you love. It really has been a pleasure speaking with you ladies. It's inspiring. I'm actually feeling very creative right now, so I'm probably going to go and start making stuff. And that's how I keep going. You got to. Yes, this is wonderful. Thank you. Oh, and now someone's calling me.
I'm so grateful, and to all of you that you were so open and candid and sharing your own experience. I know that that's really going to speak and resonate with other business owners that are watching. As I said, the YW is really all about making those connections for women and bringing them together so that this kind of magic can happen. And I'm grateful that you helped create some of that for us today. And thank you to everybody watching. Just a reminder to those of you watching, if you can think of someone that might benefit from this, but they missed it, they can always watch it later. It's going to live on our Facebook page, and you can save it and share it and watch it when you have time to do so. I know that there's been so much wonderful content floating around every day, but because I'm working during the day, I can't always get to watch it live when it's happening, but I've learned how to save the videos and pop them up later once the kids go to bed, or things get a little quiet, and take a little bit of that self-care time, to enjoy something that's been out there. So I do encourage everyone to do that as well. And again, thank you all for your time today. And we hope everyone watching enjoyed this conversation and got something from it. And we hope you connect with us next week. We have starting Tuesday next week, health and wellness episode that's going to focus with fitness and food coach Liz Barnett Simmons. On Wednesday, which is Earth Day, which is really a whole other conversation about how this slowdown has really impacted climate change. There's a lot that's being written out there, and a lot to watch on that topic. And when we think about things that we want to keep after this, there's definitely a lot of lessons there for that conversation. But we will be replaying our Facebook Live from 2 weeks ago with our mid-regional organizer, Dominique Thomas from 350.org. And the focus of that discussion was environmental racism. And this happens to also be April as our Stand Against Racism month, where we focus, although year-round, we focus on working to eliminate racism at the YWCA. This is a time where we bring extra attention to that conversation. And I have to say that that discussion with Dominique was really mind-opening, not only eye-opening, but mind-opening. Mm-hmm. And I really encourage everyone, if you missed it, to watch it, especially being Earth Day. And on next Thursday, we have also a courageous conversation discussion with Reverend Ashley, co-chair of the Interfaith Anti-Racism Coalition, and Christopher Kwok, American Asian Coalition. So we're looking forward to speaking with them a little bit about ways that we can be working to eliminate racism in our communities. And on Friday, we have another Friday focus, as we do on small business. Corathia Oates from the Bergen County Black Business Network and Tevra Francis, who's the publisher of Bergen in Color, will be talking with us about some of the strategies that they're using to pivot and stay strong and viable during this time. So we have a lot to look forward to next week, and we have a lot to be grateful for this past week. You want to leave us with one little gratitude exercise?
So I would love to. I think that one of the most powerful things that we can do is every morning just set your intention to be more aware of the wonderful things around you. Doing that, it just helps our brain work better to be more aware and pay less attention to the negative and more attention to the positive. When we set our intention, even if it's just taking 1 or 2 minutes, saying something to yourself such as, please just help me be more aware of all of the good things today, and you truly will be more aware of them. Pay more attention to the wonderful things and less attention to the negative things, simply by setting your intention at the beginning of the day.
Yes. Well, very good. We all got that noted. We all have that noted. So folks, stay connected with the YW. Visit YWCA.NNJ.org. You can follow us on any of our social media platforms. Subscribe to our emails. Heidi gave good advice. I keep saying mind your mind. Plug in when you need to. Disconnect when you need to as well. You are in control of that, and you definitely have to listen and hear where you're at and go from there. Stay well. Have a great weekend. I know weekends and weekdays don't always feel so different right now, but enjoy, and we will see you again next week. Take care, all, and thank you so much.
Thanks, Helen.
Thank you, Helen.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, bye.